Mori ore te whānau, what's going on? No mai, haere mai, and welcome on into the 99Dreams podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. You've landed on a great episode, and you're probably here for the reason why my guest is here. If you're a regular listener, welcome on in. You're going to love this one. This is going to be a treat. So today, I've got another Otago University alumni. He's up there in Tāmaki Makaurau, up in Auckland, doing some amazing things. So let's welcome in Hayden Nelson. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the show.
Cheers, Raf. Thanks for having me, mate.
Oh, nah. Appreciate you being here, brother. But before we get started, are you able to give us a bit of a kōrero, who you are, where you're from?
Absolutely, bro. Ko Hayden Nelson ahau, no Rakapuga ahau, or Geraldine. Small wee town in the middle of South Island. Probably driven through it and taken a piss.
Driven through or just straight drive past?
Yeah. Lock the doors and keep going.
Sounds a bit like Waitara, brother.
The Naki and us have got a fair bit in common, mate.
Just, they built a whole bypass around us so you don't go through.
That's the one.
So how did a young lad from Geraldine end up at the University of Otago?
Oh, great question. There was always that crew that went down to Otago, and as you know the reputation that Otago has and the culture that it has around the students and stuff. But I must admit, I was actually having an hour in between Christchurch and Otago, and it was my girlfriend at the time. I was going to go to Christchurch, so I was close to her, and then she went, "Nah, you're off." I was like, "Sweet, okay." So I went to Otago and tried to follow the dream of becoming a S&C coach or a strength and conditioning coach, and found myself down there. So that turned out great, eh?
Shit, yeah. So that was always the plan for you? Hit Otago, study through, and make your way to become an S&C coach?
Yeah, that was kind of the dream going in. I'd before going to Otago, I'd been into the Crusaders and been to a couple of other places and kind of was real keen on it. I was tossing up between being an S&C coach or going into the army and doing like PT.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but then I realised I'm not really the kind of person that fits into strict structure. And I can't really keep a straight face when I'm standing in a line. So, that idea kind of went out the window pretty quick, eh?
Yeah, bro. I feel you, man. Like, army would be a great choice. I hate authority. I hate being told what to do. Like, if you tell me to do something, I won't do it just to fuck you off.
Yeah, well, there you go. I have an issue of someone having more power than me when they're an absolute tool. So if they know what they're doing, I'm happy. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, it's like that, man. It really is. So, what was your journey through university like?
Uni was awesome, eh? Actually, in saying that, first year was pretty tough. So I went into halls in my first year. My partner that I had at the time was still up in Geraldine, so she was finishing off her last year at school. So that made that first year pretty tough, to be fair. Like every weekend I was travelling. I did pretty well in uni and spent most of my time studying and trying to meet a few people. And then second year, jumped into the flats on Castle Street. Lived it up, eh? Mind you, again, that was actually pretty tough. I say university was great, but I had a lot of tough moments. I moved into a flat with we had 3 flats of 5 were side by side, and me and my group of mates ended up getting 2 of them. And then they drew all the names out of the hat to figure out who was in each flat, and I ended up with like the messiest, kind of loosest crew. So they were burning couches and shit on the lawns and lighting fires inside the flat, bro, like in the middle of the lounge floor, like shit like this, never cleaning. And of course I went in being a clean freak from a household that I grew up in. That year changed me, eh? For the better or the worse, I'm not too sure. But yeah, uni was interesting too. That second year I started to really enjoy the papers that second year. And yes, it just started getting more specific, which is great. Meet Jim Cotter a few more times, and then you start falling in love with the course, bro. Like, oh, this is me. The third year moved into another shitter of a flat, but that was great because I had a great group of mates around me, eh? That was absolutely fantastic. Of course, that was COVID year, but did pretty well through uni again. And actually at that point, bro, I thought I was going to go become a physiologist, eh? I wanted to be Jim Cotter's prodigy at that point. I was like, nah, I'm not leaving uni. I'm going to stay here, do my masters. I'm going to line up and do exercise phys and extreme environments and all that kind of stuff. That was And yeah, no, really enjoyed that third year. Just kind of lived life a wee bit more and did all that kind of stuff that you need to do when you're at uni and get out of your system.
Yeah,
Um,
shit, yeah.
so nah, that was yeah. Third year is what I based my whole uni experience off at. But I'm like, I loved uni, and I'm like, first year was shit, second year was shit, third year mean.
It must have been one hell of a year to overcome 2 years of shit.
Exactly right, it was. It was.
What are some of the biggest challenges or lessons that you learned from your first 2 years?
Um, oh, like I say, bro, that first year having a partner back home was real tough, eh? Um, and I think retrospectively going back into it, definitely should have, you know, thought about how kind of set up a wee more rather than going home or her coming down like every weekend or two. Like we should have sat down and gone, hold up, we're still young. We don't need to dedicate ourselves to each other when we're like an 18, 17. Like
Yeah.
let's live life a wee bit more. Not necessarily break up, but you can, but or do long distance and do it properly. Give yourself a couple of months or a month or so before you see each other, so then you can actually enjoy that uni experience. Like I think that first year, like I missed out on lots of stuff, bro. Had a great time, don't get me wrong, but yeah, a lot of stuff that I missed out on that would have been great to look back on and go, yeah, nah, that was an awesome memory. But the other thing is just to the first couple of years, I was always scared to try the new stuff. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking silly stuff like, yeah, but just trying new things. And I was like, always a wee bit on edge and worrying. And I was that worry wart and kind of the mother duck of the group that I was with. But no, uni certainly taught me that it's not that scary, right? Go try something with people that you're familiar with and go do something new, try a new activity or do something dumb, but as long as you've got good people around you, you're going to be safe, eh? So,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, probably my biggest couple of lessons. And don't forget to do well in uni.
It kind of
Don't
gets
forget.
pushed aside sometimes.
Shit, we forget about the academics, eh?
It's like, yes, let's party, let's hang out, let's make friends, let's do all
Yeah.
this shit, let's go skiing and snowboarding in
Yeah.
Queenstown, and then, oh, fuck, that's right, I got an assignment due tomorrow.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's probably the other thing, eh? Uni teaches you to procrastinate, and then you end up with like, comes the weekend and your report's due on the Monday, and then you're like, shit, now I've got to sit down all weekend and smash out this report. But like, if you'd done it on Thursday and Friday, bro, you could go skiing for the whole weekend. You could get out of Dunedin, like South Dunedin, and go and see the beautiful places down there, eh? That was something that I definitely regret doing, but hey, can't do much now, eh?
Nah, but hey, you learned a great skill. You learned that under time constraints, you can smash anything out.
Bro, you can polish your shit into a diamond, I reckon. I know people
Oh,
say you
yeah.
can't, but pressure's a great thing, dude.
Bro, 100%. I mean, shit. Like, remember when you guys were all studying downstairs for exams and shit, and I like started my whole bloody honors dissertation over again. Like, I didn't have much time, and I just had to write like a mother.
Yeah,
Pressure
that was
makes
awesome.
diamonds, team.
Too right it does, bro. You were absolutely humming down there, and we were annoying the shit out of you. But hey, you did well, eh?
It was fun. It was worth it though, because you make those connections and you get to hang out with other people. It's great to take breaks from the hecticness of whatever you're in.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, 100%.
But I want to touch on what you said earlier as well with your relationship, how you kind of not wished, but looking back on it, you guys should have taken a look at the bigger picture. But it's hard to when you're so young because you're like, no, this is it. This is end game. This is what we've got to do to make sure that everything stays the same. And it's tough, eh?
100%, dude. When you're in it, and you think that the person next to you is the one, and you always do when you're young. You're like, oh, this person, that's gonna be me for life. And then you look back and you go, oh, we probably could have approached that better. But hey, in saying that, don't get me wrong, fantastic person, wonderful relationship, had a great time. But yeah, when you're in it, bro, there's no time to sit down and go, right, how can we approach this differently? At the time, it's like, nah, we're just gonna do what we got to do.
Yeah, and it puts so much stress and pressure on both of you guys to make it what it used to be the previous year.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
And what I hate is now that a lot of people see relationships on TikTok, and so that's how they now perceive what a relationship is. I'm like, man, that shit's like half of it's fake. That shit's all scripted.
Exactly, bro. Your partner's not going to dance on their way to the door when they get home, bro. That shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's a reason the phone's out. It's scripted as fuck.
And there's also a reason that if it's the dude in the video, the chick looks so miserable in the background because he's sitting there taking his buddy 50th take of the video, and she's like, "Fuck, I'm over this."
Bro, 100%.
Or vice versa, actually. But or partner. Sorry, I shouldn't just say male and female. But yeah,
True.
yeah, no.
Another thing I want to touch on as well is you briefly alluded to it, but yeah, I was informed by another friend of ours that you have this this man crush on Professor Jim Cotter down at Otago University. Do you want to allude to how this began, and what's the extent of this?
Oh, this man crush, mate. I'd almost do anything for Jim Cotter. Anything with him pants on. Great guy, great guy. Nah, just absolutely loved his stuff, eh? Funny thing was, first time I met him was I went up to him. I said, "Sorry, Jim, I'm Haydn Nelson. You used to race the coast to coast with my auntie." And he went, "Oh, Wendy, yes." And we started yarning about that. And that was how we first met each other, mate. So that was pretty crack up. And then the next time we met him at the tours and shit, my parents came. So of course my old man goes up to him and goes, "Oh, you used to race with my sister. Do you remember me, Jim? You used to come out with us and Geraldine. We used to show you the way." So I kind of had this interesting connection with him from the start, eh? But it was, and then it was probably just like the stuff that he taught, bro. I absolutely loved it, eh? And the fact that he was so passionate about it. You know how some people get up and they just real mundane, just run through. There's a couple of lectures that come to mind, which I won't mention.
There's a lot.
Just everyone but Jim. Just real monotone, real mundane, and they just spit information at you. And it's just boring. And I know there's a lot of people that found Jim hard to learn off because he gave you so much information, bro.
Yeah.
But I just loved it, eh? I just soaked everything up that man gave. And then when you start going and doing the, Thursday after the, what do they call themselves? The pack? I don't know.
Oh, those tech meetings.
Yeah, the tech meetings, and then you go for your run after the tech meetings and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is cool, eh? Like, yeah. Just a good guy, eh?
He really is a great guy. I didn't do too well in his paper. I blame it on the other lecturer that was taking it because it was a split 50-50. I think she's on crack. She's 100% on crack. Like, drug test her. But
she's ridiculous.
Yeah. So every time we had her lecture, I was just like, bruh, I'm not even listening. I'm watching some NBA playoffs. I don't know what I'm doing. Everything I shouldn't be. But it came to exam time, bro, and it was, I think, 3 or 4 days out from exams. We've been learning from Troy as much as we can, and we just hit up Jim. We're like, "Do you have any space available to just give us an overview of this exam over the next 4 days?" He's like, "All right, sweet. If you can make it into my office every day at, I think it was 12:30, he gave up his lunch to spend time with us, and then he goes, this is the most key information that he gave us for all his exams. He goes, if there's any time I write "it depends," circle "it depends" and give a reason why, because it's always "it depends." He goes, nothing's certain. I was like, bro, the man. So I passed.
Hey, that's the one. Nah, that's the thing, and shit that goes right through life. I like there's some people that are just willing to give up anything for someone that's actually keen to learn, and like there you go. There's something beautiful about life. There are those people, and Jim's one of them. He'd give you absolutely anything if you're keen and you're interested and willing to work. He'd give you absolutely anything to make sure that you get there.
Yep. But make
hey,
sure
look,
everyone
well
succeeds.
Sorry.
Oh, he makes sure everyone succeeds.
Exactly. Mate.
Or tries to. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say like you guys getting in there and a few lunch sessions, and then you come out the other side having not listened to any of the crackheads lectures, and you do well there. So that's the main thing.
Bro, 100%. But all I knew after that was, bro, don't take that paper again. Don't take anything involved with that paper again.
You run around uni telling people, don't take it.
Yeah. I was like, gym section, immaculate. You can understand it. He might drag on a little bit and you have to catch up on yesterday's lecture and the next one.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. And then you get the crackhead, and now you're lost again.
Yeah, certainly made for entertaining viewing. I think quite a few people watch the NBA playoffs during those lectures too.
So nothing changed year to year.
Nah, same stuff rolling over, dude.
Are there any qualities or any characteristics of gyms that you've sort of tried to implement into what you do?
Big calves.
Bro.
Yeah. No. I mean, oh, like fucking calves like that, mate. I'll be doing well. But yeah, I suppose there's a few things, but it's a bit like that, eh? Like you go through and you meet a few good characters and you take a few qualities from them. But I reckon 100%, like we said before, dude. Like if people are willing to learn and people are willing to put in the effort, like giving them everything you've got, help them out, offer them any assistance, your free time. Like it's all about building that next group or that next generation that come through to then fulfill, your sector or whatever you're doing, whether it's at uni, it's, researchers that you're trying to pack out, or, just anyone that's keen to learn, like give it to them, give them the time of day. And to be passionate about what you're doing, that's 100% the quality I loved about Jim's, because he was just so passionate about everything he did, and that's what made it so interesting to listen to. And like you say, like you managed to listen in on him, he'd drag on and he'd throw so much information to you, but you can still follow it, you know what I mean? And because he's just so keen. Yeah, I've definitely tried to take those qualities and implement them in what I do, but who knows how I do it. I'm not sure how well I do it. Certainly no gym, but hopefully it's not bad.
One quality I admire a lot of his is the fact that he still has such a willingness to learn. Like he'll always come into us te kōrero a lot and ask us, oh, what do I say here? Or what do I do here? Is this like, how does this interact with tikanga? Am I doing it in the right way? So got nothing but love for Jim. He's one of our best allies over in the PE school.
I was going to say, dude, and there's not many of them floating around anymore, eh?
Not a lot at all. Not a lot at all. Not a lot at all, especially after that last review come out. Then we found out there's not a lot. Not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
We found out some of the ones we used to like, we don't like anymore.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, eh?
Yeah, man. Also, the viewers, the listeners don't know what you're up to up there in Tāmaki.
Okay. Do you want a full rundown, or just what I'm up to these days?
Give us the rundown, bro. Give us a rundown, because there'll be some people who haven't caught up with you in a while that might listen to this and go, "Is that where he is, bastard?"
So end of my third year, I was lining up to do my masters, and then master's internship came up at the Blues. So I came up here to Tamaki Makaurau to do my masters with the Blues. Spent a couple of years with them. Did my first year with them. Picked up a couple of wee side gigs with North Harbour Women's and the Auckland Men's Academy, just contracting for a couple of months. Then got the Auckland Rugby Women's role, so I was full time there with the Women's and the Black Ferns Hub that's based up here in Auckland. Did that for a year as well, and then probably left that too soon. But that's another story. Then got the Auckland Men's role, so the senior role at Auckland Rugby, which is fantastic. So that's my current position, and that's the Men's Academy, so first and second year out of school, and the kind of assistant to the provincial. So I'm not I'm 2IC when it comes to the provincial Western Seaside. So yeah, that's where I'm at now, bro, and still trying to finish off my bloody masters.
You and me both, brother. It's all good. We'll get there. We'll get there. Never say never.
Mate.
Never say never.
just eventually.
Exactly. Everyone's got to take a time off.
Exactly, mate. That's the one.
So how did you sort of get your foot in the door into these spaces?
Heck, it all started when I got that Blues role, right? That was 100% the key to everything I've done. How I got that role, no clue, dude. No clue. I was studying for exams at the time, sitting downstairs with you actually, bro. I was studying exams and saw this pop up and went, I don't really have time to do this. Called up mum. I was like, Mum, this is an awesome opportunity to come up in Auckland. She was like, son, you've just got to go for it. I was like, oh, sweet. Okay. So put my study aside for a wee bit. I was like, I could sacrifice it, drop my grade down slightly to get this application. But now once I got that role, dude, it seems to be all high performance in general, but certainly in rugby, bro, it's just who you know. So once I was in there, as long as you're a good person, you're not too much of a dickhead. I mean, you got to be a wee bit of a dickhead, especially in my role. But as long as you're not too much of a dick, people will talk, people will pass you on to each other. Like the North Harbour women's role, one of the Blues assistant S&C coach, he was meant to take that role just to make a wee bit of coin in the off season, but then he got the Auckland NPC main role. So then he was like, oh, I've got this guy that can take that role. So he pushed me in there. And then when the Auckland Academy came to them, they're like, oh, we need someone to cover for a couple of months. They were like, oh, yep, we've got someone. Like it's
nice.
It's just kind of who you know, dude. And by the sounds of it, that's absolutely everywhere is be a good person and show that you're keen to learn. Like, clearly I don't know everything, bro. And I reckon I still tell people when they ask me what I do, I'm like, I'm over my head, bro. Like, I'm just paddling, trying to keep my head above water at the moment. But there's so many more skilled coaches in my same position, but I think I don't know why I'm there. There must be a reason, but keen to learn and just keep pushing out. And I think that's kind of, everyone just kind of kept going, right, sweet, do you want to come up into this role? Do you want to come up? And just kind of keep climbing. So, yeah, I've been very fortunate, bro. And timing's the other thing, eh? Like people leaving roles and stuff, and the roles opening up, and then they're like, oh, Hayden, do you want to come into this role? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
See, that could also be a part of why you're getting so many opportunities, is because you're just not saying no. You're not saying, oh, I've got this at the moment, I've got this. Because saying yes is people are just like, oh, yeah, he's dependable, he's reliable, and he's keen.
Yeah, exactly, bro. But and in saying that though, you got to say yes to the right stuff, eh? Like like even last year, I turned down like the Blues 20s role, Blues women's. Oh, that was an interesting situation. But turned down a couple of roles like that. Had a couple of other roles that they flicked at me. I was like, nah, I can't do. But I'd done the 20s in my first year type thing. But it was, yeah, I think you're right, dude. Saying yes, and making sure that you fulfill them to the extent that they're asking or more than, rather than saying yes to everything and doing a piss poor job at everything, eh?
Yeah, 100%. So what have you sort of taken out of it all? So you've done a mixture of youth or adolescents, you've done adults, you've done male, female. What are some of the differences between them all?
There's a heap, dude. And every different athlete themselves is different. And I think that's kind of what I love about the job, eh? Like, you think it's just like gym coaching, like, PT, just roll in, here's your program, do this. But it's a bit more complicated than that, eh? But I think in terms of the different environments and stuff that I've been in, dude, like comparing male to female athletes, I find that a really interesting contrast, especially after spending the last year with the women's. But the woman's so much more about that connection between people. Like when they come in there, they're there to connect with each other. Yeah, they'll do your session, but at the same time, that's not why they're there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they know they're unfit, but at the same time, they could quite happily sit at home and not worry about it. But they come for that kind of connection piece, and I think that's also because there has been that lack of pathway in women's rugby. Like there hasn't been that next step to professionalisation. Like it hasn't been there. So they were never really striving to go anywhere. And that came out wrong. They're striving to go somewhere, bro. But you know what I mean? Like there's no like, okay, I've got to be this type of athlete or this type of player to then get paid. Do you know what I mean? It was always like, right, let's see how high we can go. Let's do our best and let's go have fun. But it was that next kind of step, which I think is starting to build in there a bit more now, which is really cool, especially after the Black Ferns contracting. And then you go to the men's boat, and they turn up because they know that they've got to be a certain type of athlete. Sorry, bro, I got too much sun coming. They know that they've got
That's
to
all
be a
good.
certain type of athlete to get a contract to then get paid to then become professional. And when they turn up into the gym, they're trying to outcompete the fella next to them, you know. Oh, you're squatting 160. Right, I'll go 163. Yup. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Like
yeah.
it's the whole time where you chuck the gym wears on like a linear positional transducer. You know, how fast can they move the bar? And then one person's jumping at 1.63, and the other fella's like, I can beat that. So then he goes and jumps at 2.1, and then this guy's 2.2, and yeah, it's a real different environments in that respect. Sorry, bro, I'm just gonna close that.
Do you think that in the coming years you'll see a little bit more of that sort of in-gym competitiveness between the women now that, especially after that Black Ferns World Cup win? Do you think now they're going to start trying to compete, or do you think that women's rugby is more about those social connections that they make between each other, and that's why their game is the way their game is? I'm not saying that it's not thriving, but that's just the way that the women play their game versus how the men play their game.
Yeah, really interesting point actually there. Um, I think there will be more of that competitive stuff at that provincial level. Like when you sit there and you see the Black Ferns gym sessions, they've got a wee bit of that going. Do you know what I mean? Um, so I think as the level of women's rugby keeps pushing, like we'll see that grow, and that competitive edge is something we always talk about at Auckland. But that kind of drive and that want to be better than the person next to them type thing. Um, but at the moment it's hard when they've got families at home, bro. You've got to work a full time job and train outside of those hours. Like, yeah, they're up against it 100% as a like your academy crews. Um, but in saying that, you are dead right, and I hope, and I don't think it will, but I hope that women's rugby doesn't lose that, because that's what's so special about the environment, bro. Like it's such a different environment to the men's, and I absolutely adore it, because it's so, I don't know, it's just so unique, bro. And I think you're dead right. I think that's why they play rugby the way that they do, and it's such a more of a kind of a cohesive group than you see in the men's side. It's not a few stars trying to crack. It's just all about one another, the person next to them. How can we support them? And that's what's just so beautiful, bro. And like do a gym session, they're all and they're having a good time, and then gym session finishes, phone pops up, then they start ticking and talking, and you're like, you're meant to be refueling. Like, go get some food in, so then we can go to the field. And they're like, no, we're just gonna finish this.
We just
Yeah. But no, it's awesome, bro. Like, and it's just such a cool environment, eh? And I don't think it will lose that. And like I say, seeing the Black Ferns environment, like they've got a wee bit more of that competitive and that drive to compete against one another in the team, but at the same time, it's still about the collective, not the individual. Um,
yeah.
and there were a couple of players like that have kind of, I suppose, with the new rearrange of the teams, they've kind of pushed a couple of them out. But yeah, you're dead right, bro. Like that's what's special about women's rugby, and that's why they play footy the way they do. And awesome footy at that too. I love that World Cup, bro. Like, I've been sitting here going along telling people that women's rugby is not what it used to be, because I'm sitting there in the environment going, what, they play decent rugby, and I'm trying to get mates to come down to our provincial games. And I'm like, I'm not coming to watch women's rugby. And I'm like, nah, like it's decent footy, it's decent footy. Out comes the World Cup, bro, and these girls are absolutely killing it. And then you hear all these like tough blokes that would never think that women can play sport, and then they're like, "Oh, you see the Black Ferns of the weekend?" I'm like, yeah, those are my girls. I got some in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Because they play with a lot of passion. A lot of passion. They turn up for one another, whether it be a try, whether it be, at the breakdown, if they get a turnover, they're always there celebrating. Like, they celebrate just as much as they play. That's how committed they are to one another, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me a lot more of like, and if you'd been at Eden Park during the World Cup or any of those states, Eden Park in particular, you would have felt it too. Like, it reminds me a lot more of that European football culture. Do you know what I mean? Like the passion is there. Like the fans are like, they're passionate. The players on the pitch are so passionate because they're playing. Yeah, they're not just playing to win. They're playing with the emotion, the passion, everything. They've got their family riding on their shoulders. They've got everything behind them, and you see them there, bro. And it's just, yeah, it's just such a cool game, eh? And sitting at Eden Park, bro, when they had the poi going, oh,
Yes.
awesome, dude, awesome. It was actually ridiculous. And again, seeing those old white males pick up a poi, start slinging it around, it was like, yes. Sitting there watching women's rugby, like, who would have ever thought this would happen? Yeah, but yeah, I reckon that's what it is, dude. Like it, because it just seems so familiar to me, but so strange at the same time. But I think that's kind of what it feels like to me, eh?
Oh, that's mean. It's a
Mm.
great insight that you're able to share too from being, not in the teams, but having involvement with both sides. The male side as well as the female side.
Mm.
Do you think that with women's rugby at the moment, it's kind of entering that era that we saw after the first men's World Cup, like the Grant Foxes and stuff like that, where they start to slowly getting paid and now it becomes, a proper professional package?
Yeah, 100%. They like those contracts now that the girls are starting to get given. At the top end, they're decent contracts. At the bottom end, they're still not. Um, Not that I should be sharing any of that kind of information at you, but I won't share any more than that. But I mean, yeah, top end girls are they're doing pretty well. It's just more those training contracts that they struggle with, eh? Um, but I think you're right. We're gonna start seeing that, but again, it depends on how NZR approach it, dude. Like they can't treat it the same as men's rugby. They can't follow the
Nah.
same path that they did with the professionalisation of men's rugby because it's a different game, bro. And that's yeah, we spend a fair bit of time, banging our head against the wall because it's like you can't treat this like men's rugby. You can't make the exact same super competition as you do with the men's because it's different footy. Like we need a different kind of format here. And yeah, so I think comparatively we're seeing that same thing, but hopefully not the same journey, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes heaps of sense. Yeah,
Mm.
I think. Well, I don't even know actually. I just really enjoy the way that it's played. It's like you say, it's different.
Yeah,
It's not the same as men's, and no hate, just men's rugby at the moment's kind of stale. It's
it's just the same stuff, bro.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything new. The newest things that we're seeing have been stolen from rugby league.
Exactly, like Roger Tuivasa shit.
Yeah. Roger,
But
some of
nah,
these goal line dropouts.
yeah, bro. Yeah, no, 100%. And it's just becoming like a game of kicking, rolling mauls, and scrummaging, and that's pretty much all what that men's rugby is at the moment. Um, I shouldn't say that because I'm meant to be promoting men's rugby, but at the same time, I've just got to get him fit, bro, and strong, and get him on the field. Then my job's done.
I mean, it's got to promote itself, really. The package is in the game, and if the game can't promote itself, then who else can?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Um, mm,
One thing I think is an important question to ask is now that you're up there in Tamaki and you come from the Canterbury region or the Crusaders region, who do you root for, man?
yeah, I get asked this all the time, bro.
Are
The
you
amount
still
of
red and
times
black through and through?
No, the amount of times I've been called a turncoat is ridiculous, bro. I reckon it didn't take me long to switch either, eh? After spending probably a couple of months in that Blues environment and being a part of that groundwork that got them rolling, I was like, no, I'm fully invested in this team now, eh? Like, this is my team. But at the same time, every now and then I've got a wee bit of red and black, through the veins. But also in saying that, bro, like being up in Auckland, like you've got to hate Canterbury. They're the one team that Auckland or the Blues always struggle to beat. They're just, and it's frustrating, bro, because they play that classic boring rugby. But it's so
Yeah,
well structured. There's no errors. They just smack, 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 smack. Try. You're like,
yeah.
fuck.
They're immaculate.
They're immaculate, bro. They're tidy and they're well oiled, and it's just so frustrating because I think that's the other thing that I love like about the Blues rugby or Auckland rugby. Like they play within within reason, they play kind of a different game to the rest of the country. Like everyone else tries to imitate what the Crusaders do. And I think that's kind of what's cool and what's special about the players that we have up here in Tāmaki is that they are so unique and everyone's got their own flair. And so the way that we can play footy is slightly different. Again, still relatively similar, but they can play kind of a different game. And that's what annoys the shit out of everyone up here, bro. Is like, you've got all these skilled players, you're the biggest city in New Zealand, and you can't beat this team of white boys that come up from Christchurch and just do the exact same shit every time. But you know what they're going to do. Like, how can you not beat them? But, yeah, no. So in that respect, I think my blood's running blue at the moment. Probably will for a wee while.
Oh, then after this call, man, we can't be friends. As a Chiefs fan, I can't do it. I can't do it as a Chiefs fan.
No, I know you can't. No, this is sacrilege to you, man.
It's all good. We'll put it on hold. It's the off season, so we put it on hold.
We got 6 months that we can get along, dude.
Yeah. Just let me call up Big Dave. He'll sort you out.
Love it.
What do you think is some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in your current role as a S&C coach?
Biggest challenges I've had to overcome.
Other than being a turncoat.
Hey. God, I say yes to coming on your podcast and then I just get obliterated, man.
Don't worry, you're not the only one.
HR department is fully pumping right now. I reckon there's been a few big challenges, but also, I mean, most of it's the small day-to-day stuff, eh? But I reckon one of the biggest ones, bro, actually hands down, the biggest one, was coming up to Tamaki Makaurau and being the skinny wee white boy from the South Island, gets in here and he's, trying to teach these big Pacific boys or these Māori lads twice the size of me, and I'm sitting there telling them what to do, like, no, you're lifting wrong, and they're like, what are you up to? Who's this guy? And I'm like, I'm your coach. So that's been really interesting for me, dude, and really eye-opening, because I mean, I never understood the dynamics of Pacifica or Māori families, or the challenges that they face different to us, or different to myself, sorry. I was really privileged in the way that I grew up. I know I was from a wee shithole in the middle of the South Island, but I was really privileged in my growing up. And trying to understand these differences that players face, and then even just the differences in Auckland, dude. Like, okay, training's at 6:30, yeah, but I've got to come from, South Auckland. That's going to take me an hour to get there, and I'm like, just come earlier. And they're like, well, no, I've got to work. And I'm like, well, take time off work, And they're like, well, no, I've got a family of 9 at home that I'm trying to put money into. And it's like, that's what's going on, And it's really, I found that probably the biggest challenge, full stop. And that's probably more of a personal thing rather than S&C coach, do you know what I mean? But in saying that, still understanding those differences and trying to educate myself a little more. Hey, Emery's papers from Dunners, 100% opened my eyes to it, bro. Like, show me the Te Ao Māori, but didn't show me much of that Pacific side. But then coming up here, bro, and just seeing everything, it's been incredible. So trying to form those relationships, taking this now, S&C, trying to form those relationships with players that, in theory, I've got nothing in common with other than the fact that I like rugby and they like rugby, has been really interesting, and trying to find a way to form that relationship where they like you enough to respect you, and they'll respect what you say and listen to what you say, but then they also kind of dislike you enough that they don't want to get on your bad side, or they know where the line is, they know where they can have a joke and then where they can't. And it's an real interesting thing for me, bro. It's been eye-opening for me, eh? Yeah, especially me coming up going, when I played footy, if training was at, this time, I was there at that time, or within 5 minutes, because I was always late. But, like, it was never, my cousin's in town, I got to go have dinner with them. And the next week, my cousin's in town, and I'm sitting there, going, how many cousins you got, bro? Like, what do you?
Bro, a lot, a lot.
But that's the thing, dude, and it's you're dead right. There's always something going on. A cousin's got a wedding every couple of weeks, bro. But it's beautiful, and that's what I love about it. And the players are just such wonderful people, and the culture that they've shown to me has just been absolutely magnificent. But 100% on a personal / S&C level, that's been the biggest challenge. And I suppose the other challenge was probably going to those women's roles and really feeling like an intruder in a woman's environment, being the only male in there. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm the only male in the country that does those kind of roles, because like the Black Ferns S&C coach is male and the coaches are. But at Auckland Rugby, my manager was female, physio was female, personal development manager is female, and then all female players. The only time a couple of other fellas got brought into the environment was during provincial. So yeah, during the FPC season, they've got a couple of male coaches come in. But, I felt like a real intruder, eh? And that was another thing. And this is S&C to a T, bro. It's all about that connection with people, eh? And because then it was, how do I form this relationship with these players when I'm a young white male and these are females from diverse backgrounds, and I'm sitting there trying to tell them what to do. And the female game is like different to the male setup. So like even in the academy, we've got some players that are 30, we've got some players that are 16, whereas the men it's only 18 and 19. You know what I mean? So it was like far out. How do I build this connection with these players? How do I understand the differences that each of them have, and then try and connect to them and have those open conversations with players about their bodies, how they're feeling, what's going on with training, menstrual cycles is a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say as well.
Yeah. Because, I'm sitting there, I want to open up these conversations, and some players are sweet. Some players will walk past you and go, yeah, I got my period last week. And you're like, okay, sweet, check it out. Any issues? Nah, sweet. But then you got some players that, there's still that societal wall built up. Like, we shouldn't talk about this. Like, this is taboo. We shouldn't be talking about periods. So certainly shouldn't be talking about it to a male. And trying to find those ways to navigate those kind of situations, dude, that was really tough for me, really tough. But I think by the end of it, I'm sure I don't know, but hopefully none of the girls are listening to this. Otherwise, if you get a call up saying he's lying, I'm running. But I think by the end of it, like after that year, I kind of cracked it, and that's what I said earlier. Like I probably left them a year too soon. Like that probably the first 6 months really struggled, then started to crack it, and then those relationships just kind of all clicked, and it was from there on out. I was kind of like, yeah, okay, I've got that relationship now, and that's why another year there would have, we could have got some fantastic results out too, but of course I was too on to the next, which again isn't always the best outset, but hey, it's the way it works.
You learn and you grow, brother. You learn and you grow.
Exactly, mate.
Like, these are the things you have to do in life, because if you sit around thinking, man, what if I didn't? What if I did? Then you're always going to be playing what ifs, and what ifs never work out.
Nah. There's no point living in the past, is there, dude?
Exactly. Plus, there's no reason saying that you can't go back either. When the time calls again, no one's telling you you're not allowed back. So
exactly, mate. Exactly. I said that to the girls. I was like, "You'll see me again."
You're just trying to gain more experience to help them excel in the future.
Exactly,
that's what we're trying to do, bro.
Exactly. That's the one.
One tip I will give you for trying to gain some connections with our Pacific and Māori brothers, man, is be funny, have feeds.
Yeah.
So that's all you need, man.
Yeah,
be funny, feeds.
100%. Sit down and share some kai. Like, it goes a long way, just in those environments altogether, bro. But with anyone, but certainly with Pacific and Māori, bro. Like, you're 100% right. Sit down and yeah, you can ask anyone that knows me, bro. They'd say I'm somewhat funny, but mostly annoying. I just keep going, and I try to take a wee bit of that into work, like try to be somewhat funny, but also show them that you can make a dick of yourself in this environment, and it's fine. Like, we're all real selves. Like, there's no hiding anything. But hey, thank you for that advice, bro. I'm 100%. I'm going to remember that. And if anyone
'Cause-
doesn't like me, I'm going to say it loud, but he told me. 99
Bro,
Dreams
100%.
podcast, go listen to it. He told me I need food and I need to be funny.
100%, bro. 100%. Are you based in West Auckland at all?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, if you ever find yourself out those ways, head out to Sandringham or even just Google up the
I know where
Blue
Sandringham
Rose
is.
Cafe.
Blue Rose.
Blue Rose Cafe, man.
I used to drive past it on my way to work, bro.
Grab some pies from there, take it to the boys, and bro, they'll love you 100%. But try some of the pies there first and take some of their coconut buns, the bunny bubbles.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if I said it right, but take some of those. They're delicious. And the brothers will love you, man. They have hangi pie, boil-up pie, palusami pie.
Oosh.
Yeah, man. They have lamb and taro. So go there, try one yourself, but also take some for the boys, man. They'll love you.
I'll have to cut them up small, bro. We try not to push pies into the players, but
Hey, if
you got to do it to build those relationships, eh?
if you need to sweet talk someone, you brother, pie.
Dealing pies on the side, eh?
Hey,
It's inside my jacket.
couple more laps and you can have a pie.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'll try that next week and I'll let you know how I get on.
Bro, no. Jokes and food, man. It's
Yeah.
the way to win. Jokes and food.
Yeah, that's the one.
One thing when I was talking to Mitch Langton, who was the GM for the Taranaki Airs, is he's got to try and build that relationship, but not become friends. How do you manage that? Because sometimes you see some of the guys, you build that relationship and you're kind of like boys, but you're still in a position where you're not like a boss, but you've got to make sure that they listen and adhere to what you're telling them.
Yeah, bro.
How do you-
Yeah. Yeah, really tough. And that's what I say before, bro. Like being an S&C coach is 100% about that connection. Like the way that you form that relationship with your player dictates 100% of the results that come out the other side. Yeah, for the grand majority, you might have one player that just knows how to train, so they'll just train and they'll be sweet. But yeah, it's a really tough line, and I struggled with that a lot when I was actually initially came into the Blues because I was the same age as the young fellas that were getting the training contracts, and then they're sitting there after a game going, "Oh, come around to the flat, come around, we'll have a few drinks." And I'm like back home, I know that I'd get along like a house on fire with you, but I'm like, nah, you just can't. And I think at work, dude, it's like I kind of alluded to before, it's forming that relationship where they like you a bit, or like most of the time, but then they also know not to cross you. Because, well, not cross you, but they know where that line is, they know how far they can push it, and then when you're going to go, nah, shut up, we're no jokes now. I think the way that I try to do it, bro, is when we're out of a training context, I'm trying to have fun, cracking jokes, teasing the boys. I spend most of my day actually winding players up and just throwing shit at them, eh? And then when it comes time to train, I switch. And we talk about actors on, like when you're at work, that mental skills, actors on. Like when you're ready to go, you switch and you just go. You don't have that time period to phase into that mindset that you need, that high performance mindset. You've just got to fucking switch and you've got to be there, So I suppose that's kind of the way that I present myself to them is I'll have a good time, have a laugh, I'll throw shit at you, but then when it's time to work, we're on. We're not joking now. And then at the end of it, switch back off and we can have fun and have a laugh. And I think that takes a wee bit for the boys to adjust to, because then they've got to change the way that they think and the way that they switch on. And then there's a term used that I don't really like, but it's I don't like it at all. But the older coaches will use it, and you'll hear them say it. They talk about showing them the stick every now and then. Like every now and then, you've got to kind of not bar up either. What am I trying to say? Like almost like discipline, but like if somebody pushes it too far, you swing around and you tell them how it is. There's no filter. You tell them if he's being a fucking dickhead, you tell him and you call him out for it in front of everyone, and then shut, okay, don't do that again. And then that relationship kind of forms, bro, where I think like I say, they like you enough because you have a joke, you have a laugh, but then at the same time they know where that line's drawn, and they know that if they try to push this too far or they try to go too much into that friend zone where they, going to start teasing you or like winding you up about something, and like, you know, we take a wee bit of that. We always take a wee bit of shit, especially being, like I say, that skinny white boy, bro. Like, I take a fair bit of shit. But yeah, they know where that line is. So then they, like, I'm not really answering your question, but at the same time, that's kind of the way it is. It's, you've got to kind of have those two hats. You're that funny kind of guy that they can connect to and they can have a chat to about what's going on and how you're feeling. But then you're also that fella that they don't want to fuck with because you're the one that's going to make them run, or you're the one that's going to put them on a watt bike and smash them until they stop being such a smartass. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds 100%. Really hard, but at the same time, that's kind of the way.
Well, no, it's just providing context to the situation, and that's all part of relationship building. Is you know, having them understand those barriers and those boundaries for certain time periods. Yeah,
you did right, dude. Well, I suppose we sorry, I'm going slightly off track here. We
You're all good.
Last weekend with the Taidor, we had a kind of start of year camp with the academy lads. So like I said, they're the first and second year out of school, 18, 19-year-olds, or some 20-year-olds. But went down to Taidor and parked up, slept my ice style, bro, on the floor of the rugby club. Everyone's on the foam mats. Management had the foam mattresses, so I had a great sleep. But these boys are sitting there, and like, we're there to build connections, and that was the whole idea. Was it's all about the whanaungatanga of the group that we had there, and trying to build those relationships again, not just between players, but with management and players. And I found it really cool and really rewarding, especially coming out the other side. But like, and this is what I mean, they like you, but they don't like you, because I'd wake them up at 5:30 in the morning, go, right lads, you got 10 minutes, get your shoes on, get your gear on, then we're out. They'll go, oh, what? I'm like, every minute you're late, we had another 10 minutes onto the session. I'm like, oh, fuck. So first morning I had, what did I have? We were going for an estuary run. There's a wee estuary in Taidor, if you know it, between Taidor and Pawanui. And we were doing an estuary run, and then we ended up having like 6 boys that got outside. A couple came out late. A couple were standing there without their shoes done up. So I was like, right, that's an hour, boys. 10 minutes for each of you, 60 minutes, we're off. So turn and we go, and then we did this estuary run, running through the shallow water and through the kind of boggy sand, and then crawling, and then they were doing shuttles through the water, and they were hating it, and they were absolutely, a couple of boys on their knees vomiting, that kind of stuff. And it's tough, like, that's kind of military style training, and that's not how I like to train, but at the start of the year, it's kind of a good way to set that standard, you know what I mean? And then go back, and then have a shower, switch off. Now we're here for the connections, and this is our fun times. Then we have a bit of fun, and then go play a couple of games, and then did the same thing the next morning. We did a hill run at 5:30 and up there for the sunrise. Nice. And that was kind of cool though. That was like, to the Hamahi boys, this is what you see. There's a great, I can never remember how it goes, but there's a great whakatoki that talks about, climbing the mountain, and at the top there's a sunrise, but I can never remember it for the life of me. But yeah, and then I'm sitting there going, oh shit, I've just been to Dick all weekend, and then gone around and tried making jokes with them, and they're kind of unsure where I sit. But then, Monday and Tuesday came around in the gym, and every lad that wasn't there, I had a message from them saying, sorry, I'm not going to be at the gym today. I've got such and such going on. Like, normally we didn't have that kind of communication, but had a message from all of them. Before they left the gym, they were all coming to me wherever I was, wherever, whatever floor, they'd come find me, shake my hand, I think Hayden, thank you very much for the session, And I was like, sweet, like, we're getting there. Do you know what I mean? Like, this, they know that I can take a joke, but at the same time, we're also going to put in the work. That was a long-winded answer for you, bro.
Nah, that was a great answer. Because, I think with a lot of Māori and Pacifica, especially the younger ones, is you get their respect after they see you go through the same they have to go through. So if you're one of those coaches, yep, boys, laps, 100 laps, and you're just sitting there going, yep, notes, they're going to be like, no, fuck this guy, he's all shit.
Yeah, bro.
And then if you're putting in the work with them, then, you get their respect. Because similar thing, not as grand as yours. One was for the local league club. After I did my PT course down in Wellington, come home, and I took them for a pre-season. It was all the juniors, I think under 16s all the way down to 11s, I think.
Oh,
And so, yeah, I just train them over summer holidays. And yeah, even today, they still come up to me and, oh, Rauri, how are you going, brother? Good to see you. So it's that kind of respect, man. You'll probably still get that years down the line when you randomly bump into some of those fellas on the street. That, oh, Hayden, oh, hey, bro, how
yeah,
are
yeah,
you? They're super respectful, man. You just got to put in the work with them, and then they'll give you 130%. They'll
exactly,
run
bro.
through
And
walls for you, bro.
yeah, yeah, you're so right, dude. And it's like anything, bro. Rather than sitting there demanding respect, you've got to earn your own respect. Even if you're sitting, you know, you're not sitting high, but I'm the coach, so they're the player type thing, or coach and player. We're different groups, but I can't just sit there and demand respect because I've got a coach in front of my name. Like I've got to do the work too. So yeah, 100%. I get out in the estuary, bro, do it with them, do enough reps so it looks like I'm working the whole time. But when I'm tired, I sit to the side or go to the big fella at the back and go, right, come on, mate, let's go.
Hey, that's it. Smart
Yeah,
university brain working there, bro.
exactly, bro. Work smarter, not harder.
Would you have any advice for anyone who may be listening to this that's going, man, I want to do that? How would they sort of start making those inroads into getting to where you are?
Um, I suppose, dude, if you're young and you're still working through uni, or you're just interested in doing it, like doing a PT course or doing a sports science course, typically they look for the sports scientist because as much as it doesn't sound like it, bro, but half the work that we do is on our laptop, on Excel, showing GPS numbers, the numbers that they're pumping out in the gym, analyzing different stuff and trying to set targets for all that kind of shit. Um, which I love that kind of side, that sciencey stuff. Some people don't. But so you kind of need some kind of high level tertiary, and then they look for that masters or honours qualification. So if you want to go that way, try and head that direction. Um, but experience, dude, like volunteer, like right through uni. First year I had under eights rugby coaching, skills coach for under eights. Second year I was under 14s, I was skills and trainer, and then final year did the John McGlashan first 15. And that whole time I was reaching out to different teams. Went and spent a morning with the Highlanders, spent an afternoon again with the Crusaders, spent a couple of days up in Wellington with the All Blacks, just asking if I can just come and see environments, like reaching out to people, right? Like people, like typically S&C coaches or anyone in kind of sport, I reckon. Some of them might be the kids, but everyone just seems to be good people, eh? Like you just reach out to them, you're like, hey, I'm real keen on what you do. I want to have a look at the environment. Can we do it? We'll be like, yeah, sweet, come on in. I've had a couple of like young schoolboys and stuff from back home hit me up and they're like, oh, like, can you talk to me? And I'm like, yeah, like if you have a chat with them, and then if you're ever up in Auckland, come on through. So then they're like, oh, actually, I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, if I book tickets for this date, can I come in? I'm like, yeah, sweet. So then they come on up and show them through, give them a morning in the gym with the players. Like, yeah, everyone's willing to help each other out, eh? Because and like it all goes back to Jim Cotter, bro. Everything goes back to Jim Cotter. Helping that next generation of people, right? So reach out to people, go and check out the environment, show that you're keen to get your name in there, eh? Because as soon as you show that you're a good person, you're keen, people will carry you the whole way.
Me, that's some great advice there, Whānau, and 100%. If you're not keen to sort of put your hand up, and if you're always just looking for a handout, then you're not always going to get the results that you wish that you got. So volunteer, do as much as you can. It might seem like hard work during the moments, but hey, it all pays off in the end, doesn't it?
100%, bro. 100%.
So that's some great advice there, brother. Thanks for that. We've got some things on the show that we always do. We'll start off with your rock and your rose. Your rock and your rose is your highs and your lows. So the rock being, your rock bottom, and the rose being something that you're proud to show. So what's been your rock and your rose of the past week?
Past week? Oh.
Yeah.
What's my rock?
It's funny how everyone starts with the rock.
Hey?
It's funny how everyone starts with the rock.
Oh, you want to finish on the high, mate. You don't want to finish on the downer. My rock this week. Heck. Yesterday morning I was ill prepared going into work, so I spent most of my day chasing my tail. that frustrated me, but I was my own worst enemy. So that was my rock, because it was a bit of a frustration. It was like, why have you left this to the last minute? You should be better than this. I am better than this. I know that I am, so I need to turn my shit around. But then my rose was yesterday evening, because yesterday evening, me and a couple of the flatties, a couple of them were away. Natalie and Ashton, you'd know from down south.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so they were away. But my other couple of flatmates and I went and grabbed fish and chips and took a couple of ciders and went up Mount Whangarei. Sat up there, bro, and watched the sunset while we had dinner. So I don't normally eat fish and chips either, by the way, Whānau, but it was lovely. That was definitely my rose this week.
Bro, that sounds on. That sounds like a great way to sort of end the day.
Yeah, it was, dude. Especially after the start, the rock and the rose in the same day. Now that's one hell of a roller coaster ride, though.
Shit, yeah. I mean, all in 1 week, like a whole week's worth of ups and downs all in one day.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
But if anyone who's watching the video can see Hayden, they know he's not a fish and chip eater. Just look at him.
Yeah, you can't see what's under the shirt, though.
Pure mass, brother. Pure mass.
That's the one.
So another thing we do here is, this is always the hardest part, is picking up this damn box, because I got to sort of, when I pop my head down, I move away from the mic so it sounds real faded. So I'll talk to it before I pull it up. So I have this shoe box that I've got. They're a pair of Trey Young sneakers.
Oh, nice.
And inside this box, bro, I love these sneakers. They're great sneakers too, by the way. Great for any ballers out there. Comfortable, light, just what you need. So
use
this
the code
box,
what do you get? 30% off.
Get 10% off. This is a sponsor video. No, I'm kidding. It's not sponsored at all. I wish it was. Someone sponsor me. I need some money. But so this dream box is the dream deposit box. So in there, all my guests that have come on have shared a dream with me. And I've shared a couple with them as we go along, and we place it in this box. And I always tell them that, this dream deposit isn't where dreams go to die, it's where we store them, so that one day when people start achieving these dreams, we can fill this back wall. And now it looks great. Before it used to look pretty trash. If you've seen some of the videos, it used to look so horrible.
You've cleaned it up.
Finally, I've upgraded, bro. It looks nice. I've got a plant. We're living the dream here. So we're going to start putting some of those dreams up behind me as people slowly start achieving them, whether it be a photograph of them achieving their dream, whether it be, a scanned copy of a ticket, or just a document saying that they've achieved this dream. It'll all start getting posted up there. So while I pick up this box, start having to think about what some of your dreams are. And I'll note it down on this paper as I show you. The main reason I use this box is because of the quote. Always remember when they doubted you. Love that quote.
From the guy himself, right?
Someone out there has doubted you somewhere. So
yeah,
this box has a lot of meaning, I think, to me in the 99 Dreams kaupapa.
Too right, dude.
And so if you need some examples of dreams, we've got...
Yeah, I was going to say, you're allowed to share them.
yeah. People would like to go to a Rugby World Cup final. Someone would like to start and provide for their family. What's this one? Another one? Yeah, wants to be a mother. Someone wants to be a future co-host of the 99 Dreams podcast.
Love it.
To see the rangatahi achieve their full potential. And some of mine are to own a McLaren. That was my first ever one that I put in here. It was real superficial. But then I got kind of deeper. I've written, my most recent one, actually. I want to win the New Zealand Podcast Awards Māori host of 2023.
Oh, dude.
That's my goal.
Right, let's get you there then, eh?
Yeah, so hopefully we have the trophy up there next year.
Nice. The trophy instead of that plant, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be mean. No, that's awesome. I've got a lot of dreams, bro, but most of them are probably too inappropriate to put in the box.
Hey, man, we could put at least 3.
I also don't want to sound like a dick.
No, you're all good, bro. It doesn't have to be, deep or anything. Like, you can, if you want to have a McLaren too, put it right in here.
Oh, I don't really care about cars, to be fair, bro. Sorry.
No, you're all good, man. Just crush my dreams. It's all good.
Hey, each to their own, bro. We all appreciate different things. One man's garbage is another man's treasure. Look, I as much as it sounds cocky, and I don't actually back myself with many things, and if you know me, you'll know that I talk a fair bit of shit about myself. But the one thing I back myself is I'm going to be the All Blacks S&C coach one day, bro. And I know that's superficial in terms of work, but at the moment, that's the life that I'm living, So I suppose that's where I'm at. But then the deeper one that you can't put in the box because I don't know how you quantify it. But finding that key to life, bro. Like I want to find the key to life. And life's not about work. Life's not about sitting there earning money. Life's about those relationships that you build along the way and the love that you share with people and those experiences and those little moments, like I want to figure out what the perfect combination is because at the moment I certainly haven't got it and I need to get a bit more sleep. So hopefully one day I'll find that.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. I love that one.
Go. That's not deep for you.
That's going to go in here and one day you'll be able to tick that off and we can hang that up.
Yeah, you can take a wee photo of me standing there going, found it.
You did it. Just hold up a key. You with a key. Take a photo with a key.
Yeah, nice. Oh, well, you've got me deep and emotional at 9:30 on a Friday, bro, so I don't know how the rest of the day is going to go.
It's going to go amazingly. You're probably going to have someone, just make your day out there today. Yeah. You're not even going to go searching for it. It just happens, man.
Oh, you've already made my day, though.
Oh, brotherhood, you've made mine. Jumping on and just sharing some moments. So this has been like a great kōrero, being able to pull apart some of your mahi as well as, some of what makes who you are.
So it's been good fun.
Bro, I love it. Yeah. One thing I do want to say is, what kind of an image are we going to do for when you become S&C coach for the All Blacks? Are we going to have you, curling next to whoever the coach will be at the time? We're going to have you giving, I don't know, whoever the superstar player is whenever you crack it, making them do some, push-ups for lols.
Yeah, something like that. We could do that, Or just sitting there yelling my head off with a stopwatch in my hand at one of the players and a whistle in the other. What do you reckon?
That or a TikTok, if TikTok's still around.
Bro, I'm not on TikTok now for that reason. I'm not going to be that 30-year-old, 40-year-old that, who am I kidding? I'm not going to get there before then. I'm not going to be that 50-year-old that's still on TikTok, though. It'd be like Twitter, bro. Elon Musk will buy it out and charge you $14 a week.
Yeah, bro, probably, man. But it's owned by the Chinese government, so I don't know if he's got any links over there. So,
we'll see what happens, eh? But when we review this, when we meet up again, there might be some good stuff that comes out.
Yeah, bro. Oh, that's another thing we can do. Once you crack it as All Blacks S&C coach, then we'll get you back on.
Oh, there we go.
And then we just record it. You can be live from the changing sheds.
Yeah.
Post game, obviously, like when none of the players are there. Just see the lads, with their ass out.
Yeah, too right.
No, but those are some great dreams and super achievable, bro. 100% super achievable.
I don't know about that, bro, but dreams are there, eh?
Oh man, they're super achievable, man.
I was going to recite a whakatauki there for you, but I'd hate to say it wrong. So set the sights high.
Just tell me off camera.
Yeah,
I'm just done.
I don't want that published, mate.
Now, a few of the things we do on here as well before we start wrapping up is if you could tell. Let's go with if you could go back and speak to 17-year-old Hayden. If he was sitting across from you right now, what is a piece of advice? If you'd give him any advice, what would you say? Or just would you say anything to him at all?
Probably sit there and stare at him for a wee while, bro, because he probably looked exactly like I do now. Still baby face and no hair.
Probably just with a bit more optimism in his eyes.
More of a sparkle, eh? Listen,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Hasn't gone through 2 years of hell at uni.
Yeah. It hasn't had the soul sucked out of him. Um, nah, I'd tell him to keep those sights where he's got them aimed, and put your head down and work hard, work fucking hard, but party harder, eh? Enjoy the moments, take the wins. Something that I still don't do is appreciate those small moments and appreciate what you've achieved so far, eh? I think that's quite important. And like I say, I'm the wrong person to say that, bro, because I don't do it. But that's what I'd like to tell my 17-year-old self, Appreciate those
100%.
achievements.
You should appreciate your achievements, bro. You've accomplished a lot in this small tenure, you know?
Yeah. Every now and then I sit down and go, yeah, nice.
You might not like talking about it, like Jack didn't, but you got to, appreciate what you've accomplished. Even if other people have to say it for you, you should be proud of how far you've come, brother. It's a huge accomplishment. Not everyone can be in your position, and to still be who you are, where you are, and it's just a testament to who you are as a person, as a character. So you should be proud of who you are, brother.
Cheers, I appreciate that. That's some lovely words. I wasn't actually fishing for a compliment, but that was beautiful.
No one ever is fishing for a compliment, bro. But these are some of the moments that you've just got to be proud of, and you've come so far, and you've still got so far to go. But be proud of where you are.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot.
All good, man. All good. This is what we do on the 99 Dreams podcast.
This is 99 Dreams.
We give people their flowers while we can. No point waiting till people are dead and gone. Just give it to them while you can.
Exactly. Give it to him while he's still standing, eh?
Exactly, brother.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful sentiment that you'd tell yourself to, reflect a bit more and do more of what you're not currently doing. Which is
exactly,
great advice. Everyone could use a bit of that.
Everyone could myself. Use a bit of
that, eh?
Yeah. Oh, you've done well too, bro. Don't let this be about me. You've done amazing too. Listening to your stories is great. 99
no one
Dreams,
comes on the podcast to listen to me, bro.
Hey?
No one listens to the podcast to listen to me. They listen to the guests.
I don't know, bro. There's less shit coming out of your mouth.
Mate, I can see the analytics. I know who's listening to mine. I've got like 2 episodes I did on my own. They don't do as well.
Hey, don't let that be a reflection of you, bro. Let the how well your other ones have done be a reflection of you and how you led them. You've done a great job. I think stoked to be here, bro. Honoured to be here. I've never been asked to talk about myself before. Well, that's a lie, but I've never said yes to it.
No, I'm glad you gave up some time to be here with us and share your stories, because content aside, this is just great information for anyone, especially anyone looking to be in the S&C industry, but anyone who just wants to be a better person can take a lot of these lessons and experiences from you.
I don't know about that, bro, but hopefully we can help someone. As I said to you the other day, bro, it's just about keep climbing the ladder and trying to make a difference on the way, eh? So, yeah.
You're doing a bloody good job of it, bro.
Hopefully,
good job of it. So, on the flip side of talking to your younger self, in 5 to 10 years, when you take a moment and go, shit, remember that podcast I did? Let's give it a quick listen. What's something that you would like to tell your future self in 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years. We pushed 10 years. He's sitting there saying myself, oi, she's a 10, brother. Nice. Nah. I don't know. Probably just swing around and take a look back at how far you've come, because hopefully by then, mate, we've found that key. maybe not fulfilled the All Blacks, but found that key to life and find that right balance between work and happiness and love and family and all that kind of stuff, bro, and those relationships you have with your friends and flatmates and but remember how far you've come. That small wee town in the South Island, currently in Tamaki Makaurau, but who knows where we'll be then, bro. Hopefully somewhere overseas.
You never know, brother. You never know.
Exactly. I might be back in Jordan. Working at the Fresh Choice. Yo!
Back for your high school jubilee.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, bro, that's some great advice. Turn back around, have a look at how far you've come. 10 years is a long time. Anything can happen.
It's a bit of ground to cover, eh?
Shit, yeah. It's a long slog, but at the same time, it'll go pretty quickly.
Yeah, it goes way too fast, eh?
Oh, shit, yeah, man. But hey,
we're young, bro, and it's already flying past.
Just keep living it up, man. Have fun along the way and piss some people off, make amends, live it up.
That's the one, bro. That's life, eh?
Shit, yeah. But I think you're halfway towards that key to life, bro. Just keep building those and strengthening those relationships with people.
Yeah, no, cheers, bro. Yeah, we'll keep that going. I've got to strengthen my relationship with you. We got to spend more time hanging out and chatting, bro. You've got some good
told
insight.
You, off season only.
Only when the blood's red, bro.
Off season only, man. Off season only.
Oh, well, you got a couple of months, and then I'll see you at the other end of the year, bro.
Yeah, you'll see me at the other end of the table. Awesome. Hopefully this is our year. We got Damien back.
Oh, you're dreaming, bro.
I told you, man. We're supposed to be amicable.
Yeah, sorry. Chuck it in the box, bro. Chuck it in the box.
Yeah.
We might have to wait 10 years to pull it out, but hey.
Oh. Yeah, it's been about 10 years since we learned our last one.
Been a wee while. Don't you worry, bro. The Blues are about the same. They haven't taken a good one. Trans-Tasman doesn't count.
Nah, it really doesn't. It's like the bubble championship for the Lakers.
Exactly.
Doesn't count.
Exactly. It doesn't count. We want the big one.
100%. You need it. All in. But here we go, man. As we sort of start wrapping up, is there anything that you'd like the listeners or the audience to know what you're up to, where they can find you?
Where can you find me? I'm on social media, I guess, but I'm private. But you can add me on Instagram and see if I like the look of you and add you back. See how that goes. Nelson, NELSON Hayden. It's an underscore.
I'll link Hayden. It down below.
Yeah, link it down below. Or if you're interested in anything S&C wise or high performance wise, or just if you're actually interested in my journey, I don't know whether people would be, but if you are, flick me an email on my work email, which is hayden.nelson@aucklandrugby.co.nz. And if you want to come in and check out our environment, more than happy to have people come through. That's what it's all about, helping out other people, and especially the 99Dreams co-op. We gotta bring them right through. They've got the secrets now, eh?
Hey. Oh, well, next time I'm in Auckland, bro, I'll hit you up for a tour.
You better, bro. You better, and a beer.
100%, man. I'll buy the first round.
That sounds good.
But if I'm buying shots, bro, you should probably go home, because that's when the night will turn. I told Nick the same thing. I was like, if I'm buying shots, man, you better run.
Nah, bro, I'm there with you. I'm chasing you. Wherever we're going.
Say less.
Never run away from the fight.
That's us. Next time I'm in Auckland, bro.
Yeah.
I'm actually in Auckland March.
Mean. I'll see you there, bro. I'm going to chuck it. What date are you up? I'm checking it in my calendar right now. Or should I? No, we'll do this off the podcast.
Yeah. I don't want people to...
Sorry.
Yeah. We'll meet up at the Blue Rose Café.
I want my taro and, what'd you say?
Taro and lamb?
Lamb pie, bro. Yeah.
Bro, it's so good. There's a little bit of spice. The lamb's real tender. 10 out of 10. Blue Rose Cafe, any of the Auckland Whānau, anyone travelling to Auckland, it's in Sandringham, Google it, go get an Uber. I don't care how much that shit costs. Just go buy this stuff. So delicious.
Right, sounds good.
But no, thank you so much, bro, for being here. This means a lot, and it's so great to have some of your time. You're such a busy man. You got a lot on, but super appreciative, brother. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, no, thanks for having us on, bro. It's great to catch up and great to chat to you, and hopefully there's a couple of gold nuggets in there. I don't know whether there is, but...
Always is, man. Always is. And if not, it's always good to hear other people's stories and connect the dots, get to learn a bit more about why you are who you are and why you're where you are. So it's been great, brother. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so have I, bro. You keep going for the stars to yourself, bro. I want to see this podcast. I want to see you as the top Māori podcaster 2023.
Oh, bro. That's us. We're getting it. Hopefully. We're going to put our best foot forward anyway. That's all we can do. That's all we can do is put our best foot forward, put out the product we believe in. And hey, if other people believe in it, then we win the award. If not, we did our best.
Exactly, bro. It's just a bit of metal.
Hard. But if you're still listening, thank you so much for listening and sticking by. This has been a great kōrero with Hayden. And like I said, if you want to know a little bit more about him, details will be down below. Hit him up at his email. He is genuine when he says like he'll take you for a tour if you want to learn a bit more about that environment. So take him up on that offer. Not everyone's going to give it to you. But until next time, Whānau, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Take care and mauri ora.